from bad to worse.
You could be going so many different directions here.
Your Dallas Mavericks.
Oh, my God.
I'm just going to call all the teams that are struggling.
Yeah, right. Thank you. Thank you for heaping all of these on me. I definitely feel for Dallas Mavericks fans.
You got to. 3-7, the Dallas Mavericks, as we tape this. Only the Pelicans have a worse record. Again, we're recording before their game on Monday night, a game that is being attended by the team governor, Patrick Dumont, which I believe is the first game he's attended since the opener of the season. So
I think since training camp. Was he even there?
I think he was at the opener. I think I saw
Okay.
a Tim McMahon tweet that said he was at the opener,
Okay.
which wouldn't surprise me. But first game there, and this comes amid, I would say, swirling rumors isn't enough of a metaphor there. I would say it's a hurricane of rumors, a tornado of rumors surrounding the future of Nico Harrison. Nico Harrison, of course, made the deal to trade Luka Doncic just about a year ago. I don't think it's not even been a year yet since they made the deal to trade Luka Doncic.
Crazy.
And everything that could go wrong has gone wrong since then. You've had Kyrie Irving suffer an ACL tear towards the end of last season. Anthony Davis is battling through injuries, mixed his 6th consecutive game on Monday night with a calf injury, which you know is terrifying for teams when you hear about that calf injury because you don't know what it could lead to. This team cannot get anything done offensively. Nothing. They are abysmal. Not the worst team in the league in offensive rating, but they are 29th in the league. And Indiana is worse because Indiana's lost everybody.
Yeah.
But the Mavericks are 29th as we tape this in offensive rating. And they are a full 2 points worse than your Washington Wizards.
They lost to the Wizards.
Ratings.
They lost to the Pelicans. You're like, oh, except for the Pelicans. They lost to the Pelicans. They lost to the Wizards. Those are some of their losses.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just...
Barely beat them the other night.
Yes.
Just barely. We're losing that game. Yeah.
Yes. And Russell was minus 18 in that game.
Yeah.
So,
oh, God.
Right? You know what they need?
Can I just say one thing? Like, not to defend other podcasts, but Bill Simmons took some heat for... I think he called D'Angelo Russell like the guy you like coming over the party early and then you want him to leave. He's not wrong about that. Like D'Angelo Russell, like the anticipation of D'Angelo Russell and like the vibes from D'Angelo Russell, and maybe you look at like Basketball Reference for the numbers on D'Angelo Russell. You're like, all right, that guy, that if we can get him to be a stopgap guy for Kyrie Irving, we're gonna be okay. And then D'Angelo Russell comes out and just does what we've seen him do really every year for the last few years.
You can't have been paying attention and thought that was a good, strong, this will hold the tide while Kyrie is out move. You just can't. I mean, that might have been what the best available to them was, considering Nico spent so much capital building a team around Luka Doncic. To Luka's strengths. That was why they got to the NBA Finals. And look, we're going to talk about when is Nico going to get fired, because it really does seem to be a when instead of an if.
I feel just my reporting is it's day to day with Nico Harrison and Dallas. That's the messaging I've been getting from people either directly in the know or sort of in the know.
Here's the problem. Nico, who, first of all, had a very distinguished career in the NBA before he became general manager when he was at Nike, who had a very good beginning start with the Mavericks. When they got to the finals, it was because of a bunch of trades and contracts that people thought, this is going to work out so well, and they worked out. All of those bets paid off.
Daniel Gafford,
right?
PJ Washington, all those guys paid off.
Right? You talk about the guys around the margins. You say, it hasn't paid off anywhere for the Clippers. It paid off. All of those paid off for the Dallas Mavericks. So I'd like to say you don't want to judge anyone by their worst day or their worst decision. The problem is Nico's worst day and worst decision stemmed from what was in his interest not being in the best interests of the Mavericks. And every day since then has stemmed from what is in Nico's best interest as opposed to the Mavericks' best interest. Trading Luka Doncic was very clearly, to anyone, to someone who had been watching the game for 6 months, would know that is not in the Dallas Mavericks' best interest to trade a generational talent at 25 years old who had just led his team to the NBA Finals. Not in the Mavericks' best interest. But Nico was fed up. Nico thought, I got to get this guy out of my facility. He doesn't listen.
So still a wild thing to think after you went to the finals and didn't lose that series because of Luka Doncic.
Right? We all saw the video. He's drinking a beer when he shouldn't. I got to get a guy to take a beer out of his hands. All of that stuff.
He wouldn't have loved Larry Bird.
But that's my point. What bothered Nico, what made him call up the Lakers and say, have I got a deal for you, friend, was because in Nico's day-to-day frustration, best interest was to get rid of that guy. But that was in no way to the best interest of the Dallas Mavericks. And every day since has been what is in Nico's best interest. Because the minute Kyrie Irving got hurt, you and I had a discussion. I said to you, is this when you trade AD? And you said, first of all, you're crazy. And second of all, you said, well, Nico Harrison's never going to do it. And you were right. Because
on the second part, at least.
Of course, Nico Harrison was not going to go turn around and acknowledge failure about this thing that he had been so heavily criticized for. So that was another moment, a decision, a fork in the road, where Nico operated in Nico's interests as opposed to the Mavericks' interests. The reason why I asked you that the day after Kyrie got hurt was, okay, Kyrie's going to be out for 9 months to a year, whatever we call it, and he's injury prone and has a history. AD, we know, is injury prone and had a history, and sure enough, got injured pretty quickly after that and then came back too soon. Why did he come back too soon? He came back too soon to try to justify a trade that Nico had made that AD... I mean, how do you think it felt to be Anthony Davis in the couple weeks after that trade? Not only feeling like the Lakers and possibly LeBron James, I don't know the answer to that, betrayed you, but then to have everyone around the league pay on the trade as possibly the worst trade of all time, and you're the guy they got back. So you're eager to prove, oh, Nico was right. You come back too early. You hurt yourself more. You've got to then turn around, if you're Nico Harrison, at that point last season and say, I can't win anymore. I need to cut my losses. But instead, he was operating in the best interest of, I can still win. I can still show everybody. And every day since that, every move since that, every scramble since that has been how Nico Harrison can either save face or try to make things better about the decision he made. And that is not what has been in the best interest of the Mavericks. So I am not rooting for anyone to get fired because it sucks getting fired. These guys have families. It's not okay the way we talk about it so casually. But the truth is, any personnel decision they make up until the trade deadline, it's not going to be in the best interest of the franchise unless Nico Harrison is not the one making those decisions.
I agree. There certainly are.
And they should still trade Anthony Davis.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. There certainly are mitigating factors if you want to make the case for keeping Nico, one of which is, where would this team be with a healthy Kyrie Irving? Like, they have no shot creation whatsoever. Like, they can't do anything. Like, they can't make plays on the offensive end of the floor. For a long time, they were dead last in offensive efficiency. Like, Kyrie himself makes them considerably better. Klay Thompson looks washed.
Another decision made.
Right. But, and look, and that was, there's a trickle-down effect from all that. Like, Klay Thompson was acquired with Luka Doncic on the roster.
Yes.
Like, Klay Thompson was brought in to play opposite Luka Doncic with no shot creators. Klay, like, the one thing that Klay can no longer do without question is play off the dribble. Like, he can't. The legs are gone. And that's infecting all other parts of his game. The numbers, 31% from the floor, 26% from three, got benched, which he's not going to be happy about. Because he went to Dallas in part because
they guaranteed him he would start.
You are a starter down here. So I'm not sure how that gets measurably better. But you've now got guys that are, were brought in to play with Luka. Luka's no longer there. And now your offense has completely malfunctioned.
But here's the thing about being someone in the front office. You don't have a crystal ball. You cannot tell the future. Some draft picks are going to pan out. Some, to your best ability, your best scouting, they're just not going to pan out. You can't predict necessarily what a 17, 18, 19-year-old is going to turn into. Not every guy you trade for is going to play every game. Some of them are going to end up with devastating injuries. But you have to, as someone in the front office, bake the odds. You have to have judgment over how is this most likely to work out. Klay Thompson, yes, he was acquired when Luka was still there, but you're acquiring a guy who Golden State, the franchise that has the most loyalty, the most built up, oh, we'll give him another chance. You've earned it. You've earned our trust. You've earned it with Steve Kerr. They said this guy isn't a starter anymore.
To not the most absurd money either. Was it 3 years, like 50, something like that?
Yes.
Like not like full max. We're not going to go that route. This was a small number, relatively speaking.
Yes. So when they say this guy isn't a starter anymore, this guy is not a franchise changer or a major star contributor anymore, however you want to phrase it, to take a bet on that guy at the tune of what? Is he making 30-something a year in Dallas?
Something like that.
Is not playing the odds. It's not making a good decision. Obviously, trading a 25-year-old generational superstar for Anthony Davis is now 32, Kyrie Irving is 33. They both have significant injury histories. If you laid out all the injuries, it would get you to the second page of a piece of paper. That is not playing the odds well. You cannot guarantee everything of how your team is going to turn out, but if you make decisions that are on the backside, on the wrong side of, this could go either way, over and over and over again, you are going to end up with a team that has, quote, bad luck. But is it really bad luck? Or is it just we didn't position ourselves very well? We were basically betting that everything was going to work out in a situation where we created that has a bunch of pieces where things do not work out all of the time. Nico sat there, that press conference he gave, what was it, in Cleveland?
Yeah.
On the road after Dallas when he finally talked after the Luka trade. And he said, we have a 3 or 4 year window. This is a championship team right now, and over the next year, you're going to see we have a 3 or 4 year window. They're in their second year of that window.
And this year is closed. Like this
Again, what's in Nico's interest? Yeah. His best case scenario is that this is now 2 years out of 3. If it was only a 3 year window and we're 2 years into it being a wash, it's a wash. And again, I just don't think you have someone at the helm who is making decisions in the best interests of the Dallas Mavericks. I don't think it's possible for him to. And to have a guy running your franchise who isn't making decisions in the best interests of the franchise, that's a problem. Yeah. And to me, that's something, if I was the owner, I would make a decision on that sooner rather than later.
And where would this team be right now if they didn't have the glimmer of hope that is Cooper Flagg?
I mean, and that, by the way, is such dumb luck. I don't know what was it, 1.4% chance they were going to get him. Yeah. I have heard people say, and I can't tell if it's just completely tongue-in-cheek or if there is some just, people get so mixed up on you tank for this, you don't for that. What are the odds for that? Do you have this draft pick or not? There was never part of the plan of, oh, don't worry, we're trading Luka because we're getting the #1 overall draft pick in a generational draft. Mm-hmm. That was never part of it. It is only the dumbest of tiniest of luck that happened.
All right, let me just say 2 things that I've heard from people in Dallas about this Nico situation. One, among the reasons they believe that Patrick Dumont and ownership has to make a change is that they have lost the community. Like they've lost the fan base. And that matters generally speaking, but this is a team that's working on an arena deal here.
Yep.
Like they're trying to get something done for a new building. And you got to have goodwill with the community and with the fan base to get something like that done with local funding. Like you got to have that. And look, letting Nico go and replacing him is not going to replace all that, but at least it starts healing the wound a little bit because that, you're hearing like fire Nico on the road now from some Mavs fans that are out there. One thing somebody suggested to me could be possible is if Nico Harrison gets let go, we could see Jason Kidd take that front office role.
That is fascinating to me.
Now, we know...
By the way, when you say someone suggested to me, you don't mean a Mavericks fan you ran into in the third row.
I mean
someone within the franchise.
With someone very connected to the situation. And it was interesting to me because...
Was it Jason Kidd? No, I'm not going to ask you that.
It was not Jason Kidd. But you know this from Jason's earlier time as a coach. Jason has always wanted to be the guy that shops for the groceries, to borrow the old Bill Parcells line. He has matured, to his credit, in recent years. I thought being humbled in Brooklyn and Milwaukee and then taking an assistant coaching job with the Lakers changed him some. But I think that still burns with inside him. If you let go of Nico Harrison, you can't elevate someone internally. Like it's further poisonous tree. Yeah. Everyone is tainted in that front office by that trade, whether or not they fought against it or not. Doesn't really matter. You're all part of the same front office. Like Jason Kidd, his hands are clean in that. Like he's the coach. You know, he did what he was told. He coaches the team. He loved Luka. He's part of his development in Dallas. So I could see a scenario where Jason Kidd begins running basketball operations. Jason Kidd's got a good eye for talent. He has shown it over the years. And one thing Jason Kidd could do is he could start to repair all those relationships, start to repair the relationship with the community. I mean, he's got history, not just as a coach, of course, he's a player in Dallas, won a championship. Hey, maybe Jason Kidd can be the guy that brings Dirk Nowitzki back into the fold. How about getting Dirk back? How about having him no, he wouldn't go off Amazon Prime. Does a good job over at Amazon Prime. Shout out to Dirk and Amazon, doing a great job.
They are doing a great job.
But like maybe not having him lob grenades at your team from a television set saying it's tough to watch. Maybe bring him back into the mix. Maybe mend some fences with Mark Cuban and, you know, get him kind of back on board with the team plan. I think that Jason makes a lot of sense. And Jason is very good at relationships.
Oh, he is,
Jason
isn't he?
is outstanding at relationships. And I'm sure on some level, Jason's got a relationship with Patrick Dumont.
Oh, yeah, of course he does.
That he has. I don't know what it is. I'm not going to speak for Jason Kidd, but I'm sure he's got his own relationship. I could see a scenario. And look, if you're Jason, you know, you like AD, you're AD's guy, but you're not tied to the guy. You're not tied to that deal. You could turn around and trade Anthony Davis. You could go out and get a young coach to build out that team. You could start fresh in ways that Nico Harrison cannot start fresh. I mean, you made the point of like doing things in the best interest of the team. Doubling down on this core is probably not in the best interest of the team. Rebuilding around Cooper Flagg is in the best interest of the team. Right now, it looks like.
I love this idea. I mean, the whole community aspect you just built out, I'm not going to repeat it, but it is exactly right. Mm-hmm. You are exactly right. And it is what the franchise needs. And Jason's not just has a good eye for talent, he's a good recruiter. I mean, he was instrumental in Kyrie coming to Dallas. So he understands how to talk to guys. You always hear guys in the locker room over there saying, well, you know, he was a Hall of Fame point guard, so I'm going to listen to him, that sort of thing. That doesn't change just because he's not on the bench anymore. So I think that asset will help him in the front office. And frankly, and by the way, I am a J. Kidd devotee the way I'm a Ty Lue devotee. I really am. I think
you're a devotee of a lot of coaches there.
You think I'm a devotee of 6 teams. I am not.
Wizards, Clippers. We got 3 down.
Mavs. But no, I absolutely believe in him, and I think that he definitely has what it takes to at least try. And even if he's not the greatest front office man in the history of the world, he is not Red Auerbach, it doesn't matter. What matters is they need to turn a corner, and he can offer them something that even the ghost of Red Auerbach could not, which is all that community stuff that you just talked about and the goodwill and just getting the franchise to feel like, okay, we are on a direction where this could go somewhere good. I do still think they need to trade Anthony Davis. I mean, you lucked out to the luckiest of lucks getting Cooper Flagg. You just need to build around his timeline. Jason Kidd, the coach, doesn't want all those losses. And by the way, the Mavericks have their pick this year. This year, in what is considered the deepest draft that we've seen in a couple decades, they have their own pick. They do not have their own pick next year. So this is the time, man.
Pull the chute.
Pull the chute. Anthony Davis, he still has one of the reasons why I asked you about him last year is because at that point he had 2 years left on his deal. He now has 1.5 years left on his deal. If you wait until this offseason where he's an expiring contract, you're just not getting much for him. And the Mavericks gave away so many assets, so much draft capital.
A lot of teams Anthony could help. We talked about Detroit, top of the podcast.
Right? So
Miami, San Antonio.
I don't think they're bringing him in San Antonio, but anyway.
Hell of a defensive front line. Imagine trying to score on the Spurs with Wemby and
I know.
God, that's
I don't think he's on their timeline, Chris. But look, I think there are teams that he could help that would still give them back some of those assets that Nico traded away to build the team around Luka. Because you need those. Yep. Because frankly, they don't have much in the cupboard to build around Cooper Flagg. And they need to use whatever they can to get some of that back, and that is Anthony Davis. And again, Nico's not going to do that. He's just not going to trade AD. He can't. So you have to have someone running the franchise who is working in the best interest of the franchise. And it's unbelievable to say that sentence because it should be obvious, but it is not what is going on in Dallas right now.